Welcome. Salam. Salam. This preview is in Persian, so you can skip to 20th minute when I introduce Shane Morand and we all learn together from one of the experts. دوستان عزیز خوش اومدید. خانواده محترم، امیدوارم همگی خوب باشید. عارف گیلانی هستم. برای معرفی اورم فاوندیشن به تمام دوستانی که فارسی زبان هستند در تیم ما در ایران که اینترنت ندارن بهشون برسیم، دوستانی که توی کانادا، توی استرالیا، توی بقیه جای خاورمیانه هستن، توجهتون رو برای نیم ساعت بعد میخوام که یک برنامه خیلی ساده روی خطی رو بهتون معرفی کنم که میتونید از این یه درآمد $1000 در هفته داشته باشید. همینطوری که کمپانی از اول این سال پابلیک شده و درها باز هست. دوستان میتونن در عرض 90 روز یادگیری این سیستم های جدید رو یاد بگیرن و اگه مایل باشید نتایج رو دوست داشته باشید و تمام کسانی که اینجا یک حساب بانکی باز کردند از روز اول 2023 جنوری تا الان پول درست کردن و با این آغاز بریم سر اصل برنامه که شما رو معرفی کنم به اورم فاوندیشن که چی هست و چطور شروع شده. کمپانی ما مورگن گیلانی گروپ در سال 2013 شروع شده برای قدرتمندتر کردن آینده Empowering the Future و امروز با AI Finance باتون صحبت میکنیم درباره AI Finance و من عارف گیلانی هستم از تورنتو کانادا. اورم فاوندیشن در روز 17 ژانویه 2026 در دبی درش رو به روی عموم باز کرد. یه ویدیوی 10 دقیقه است که میتونیم بهش گوش بدیم. درباره اورم براتون به زبان انگلیسی توضیح میده. بله میخواستم فقط ببینم که سکرین داره شیر میشه. بله دوباره شروع میکنیم.
February 2023. The world was still living by the old financial logic, but we pressed start. We wanted to create an ecosystem that would unite artificial intelligence and finance to make asset management simple, scalable, and secure. That's how Aurum was born. The starting point was EXAI Bot, the first AI-powered trading solution, an algorithm that laid the foundation for an entire era. From that moment, we began expanding at the speed of light. We've built and are implementing a vision that includes trading AI bots, exchanges, neobank, crypto cards, and real-world asset tokenization, official registration in Hong Kong, and the first features in global media. The creation of Aurum Neobank, the launch of Zeus AI Bot, and the flash loan license surpassing $1 million in profits. The opening of our headquarters in Dubai, where hundreds of industry leaders gathered. The world started to talk about us. We were featured by Binance, Benzinga, Crypto Reporter, and Blockchain Wire. Forbes called us the new infrastructure of global finance, but this is no time to pause. We're gaining momentum. We launched Aurum Academy, strengthen our team, and appoint Brian Benson, a professional with 27 years of experience, as our CEO. Global events in Vietnam, Dubai, and Antalya, thousands of cards sold, and the launch of the AI agent ecosystem. Today, we stand on the stage of Token 2049 alongside the leaders of Binance, Tether, Proofpoint, and Tron. And this moment once again proves Aurum is a global ecosystem of worldwide scale. But the most important part, this is only the beginning. The next decade will be one of expansion. In 2025 to 2026, we bring Aurum Neobank to the mass market. Hundreds of thousands of users, millions of transactions. The launch of Aurum Exchange, which reaches $5 billion in trading volume within its first year. AI bots manage over $100 billion in assets. The first 5,000 cash-in and withdrawal terminals appear. Aurum establishes its presence in 10 countries and secures its position in the global market. In 2027 to 2028, we raise the bar. Neobank reaches 2 million users and 1.5 million cards. During this period, Aurum Dex, a next-generation decentralized exchange launches. Personalized AI-based services emerge. Credit scoring and capital management. The first RWA deals worth $500 million are integrated. The terminal network expands to 20,000 points across 20 countries. By 2029, Neobank evolves into a super app, flight bookings, taxis, car rentals, food delivery, while transactions exceed $20 billion. Aurum DEX cements its position within the ecosystem with $5 billion in trading volume, becoming a key element of Aurum's DeFi direction. AI agents operate for hundreds of thousands of businesses, and RWA grows to $5 billion. Aurum becomes an ecosystem that accompanies users every day. In 2030 to 2033, we reach global scale. Neobank's user base hits 12 million and over 10 million cards. Inside the super app, 15 to 20 integrated services and partnerships with 500 global brands. Aurum Exchange reaches $90 billion in trading volume and enters the top 10 global crypto exchanges. The terminal network expands to 100,000 plus locations across 50 plus countries. The annual Aurum Global Summit gathers 5,000 leaders. By 2033 to 2035, Aurum Neobank enters the top 5 global neobanks with a valuation of $10 billion plus. Aurum Exchange remains in the top 10, while Aurum DEX surpasses $20 billion in trading volume. AI manages over $5 billion in assets, and RWA exceeds $20 billion. We are present in 75 countries with 1,000 global partners and over 100,000 terminals. The Aurum Global Summit brings together 10,000 industry leaders. Aurum becomes the symbol of a new financial era, a system that made finance accessible to everyone, a story that has already transformed the industry, and a future that already belongs to us.
خود بنده عارف گیلانی هستم و دوست دارم کمپانیایی شرکت داشته باشم یا باشون همکاری کنم که یک برنامه 10 ساله داشته باشن. خود من همین مثلا شرکت خودم کمالکی رو 10 سال پیش شروع کردم. یه برنامه 10 ساله داشتیم و امروزه در سعودی و سراسر دنیا داریم گسترش میدیم. اگه میخواید درباره پروداکت های ما بیشتر اطلاعات پیدا کنید حتما به وبسایت ما برید. و اینجا در اوروم فاندیشن میخواستم اساس اقتصاد سازی و اساس بگیم آزادی شخصی رو بهتون بگم که توی کورسی اینو دوستم به دوستان توی کتابم نوشتم، اسمش هست Ministry of Miracles، یعنی این که وزارت معجزه ها. واقعا این معجزه آساست. این سیستمی که بهتون آشنا میکنم امروز و در 75 کشور دنیا همونطور که ویدیو گفت هستش و توی RWA این بهش میگن Real World Asset، یعنی که طلا، یعنی که ریال استیت، هتل، این چیزهایی که میتونید رو شرکت داشته باشید. خود من فقط یک مشاور هستم و هر اینوستمنت یه ریسکی داره، ولی بزرگترین ریسک اینه که آدم بشینه و هیچ کاری نکنه. توی بانک اگه پول داشته باشید پولتون چقدر بهتون سود میده دوستان؟ هیچی. سودم که نمیده که هیچی. هر وقت پولتون رو برمیدارید از سودتون هم کم میشه و از خود پولتون هم کم میشه. اینجا اوروم نیو بانک هست و اینجا سیستم ها فرق میکنه. شاید این سیستم ها رو مغز شما ریجکت کنه چون نمیدونید سیستم ها رو، ولی این کمپانی رجیستر شده و در تمام دنیا هستش. در هلند، در وارسا، در پولند هست، در دبی رجیستر شده و در هنگ کنگ رجیستر شده و لایسنس نمبرها و تمام تجهیزات همین روی صفحه نوشته شده. به ما اجازه میده که از بازارهای جهانی به طور مستقیم و بدون واسطه دست بیابیم. واسطه ها بانک ها هستن. پولتون رو میذارید توی بانک و اونا خودشون میبرن تو بازارهای جهانی خرید و فروش میکنن، سود میارن و شما رو هم چارج میکنن. اینجا این ربات میاد براتون کارهاتون رو انجام میدن و روزانه سوداتون رو به حسابتون باز میریزه. این سیستم جینیس توسط این آقای برایان بنسن به دنیا به ساخته شده. یکی از خبرگان این دنیا است. سیستم های بانک های دنیا از ایشون دعوت میکنن برای حرکت پول های جهانی از این بانک به اون بانک، از این مملکت به این مملکت. از آقای برایان بنسن مشورت میشه. ایشون گلوبال سنسیشن هستن توی تمام جاهایی که بانک ها، سران بانک ها هستن و درباره آینده پول صحبت میکنن ایشون هستن. اینم یک ویدیو کلیپ خیلی جالب و جذاب از ایشون که میگه که 2 سال پیش اصلا AI فایننسی وجود نداشت و امروزه بدون مدرک، بدون اینکه پروفسور باشی یا دکترا باشی، این چیزها براتون موثر هستش. گوش بدیم به آقای برایان بنسن.
Look back 2 years ago, AI finance wasn't even really a concept. Today, you have an opportunity to invest your money in some sort of yield-bearing product that is actually working, right? You can go into certain kinds of apps, and we're building it into Aurum, and you can say, hey, I have $1,000. I want 30% of it to be high risk, 10% of it to be this, the other to be that. And in a month from now, update me on how it's going, and let's see where we're at, and maybe we can shift it then. And so you can talk to these things, and in a very simple and easy way, you can accomplish things that before it took a PhD in programming to figure out. And so I think that's the difference here. Is it's coming closer and closer to the everyday person. We are a true crypto native, crypto first neobank, and so we have a leg up because we're not bringing crypto into a legacy system and introducing it to people that don't really know about it or aren't sure about it. We're bringing crypto first, and then the rest of the banking experience comes later. So I think we're flipping it on our head. So I think you're going to see in the next 2 years a huge increase in the amount of users that are coming over from some of these other neobanks into crypto first neobanks. And Aurum's not the only one, but we hope to be the leader in that space.
رهبر این کمپانی در فوربس هست، از ایشون صحبت‌های زیادی شده. خود بنده رفتم به دبی و آقای احمدزن که براین بنسن یکی از همکاران اصلی ایشون هست، باشون مصاحبه کردم، ازشون تمام سوالات رو پرسیدم، به خاطر اینکه بهشون گفتم که اگه من بخوام این برنامه رو به دوستان فامیلی خودم معرفی کنم باید مطمئن بشم. آقای احمدزن گفتش که اولا که خود فامیلیش توی کانادا است، از این مطمئن شدم که بله این آدم سیفی است، تو کانادا میتونم با دختراش که اینجا درس میخونن تماس بگیرم و خودش هم در تماس هست، در تلفنی با ما در تماس هست و گفتش که آقا من $50,000 برای مادر 80 سالم اینجا گذاشتم و هنوزم شکر خدا سلامتیش خوبه. چند تا از هدیه‌های و شتر رو هم براشون بردیم، از موهای شتر رو براش بردیم که با در کارخانه خودمون درست شده بود و گفتش که این یه جای مطمئنی هست و این آدمای خیلی معتبری هستن، در تمام دنیا دنبال اینا میگردن، خودشون در ریال استیت دبی هستن و در بازار طلای دبی. فوربس مگزین درباره این کمپانی حرفای زیادی نوشته و گفته که داره اینفراستراکچر گلوبال فایننس رو میذاره، یعنی که یک سیستم جدیدی رو برای تمام دنیا داره میسازه. اولین پروداکت این AI باکس بات هست، یک رباتی هست که تمام اطلاعات دنیا بهش فید میشه، 24 ساعت داره همه اینا رو انالایز میکنه و خرید و فروش های بازارهای ارزی رو براتون در سکند، لازم نیست اینستاین باشی، لازم نیست کسی خیلی PhD داشته باشی تو کارهای بازار، این ربات همه این چیزا رو براتون بهتر از PhD ها، دکترها، دکتراها، پروفسورها و تمام اینها انجام میده. از اول از $56 میلیون که روش بود تو سال قبل الان به 77 و خبر آخر که $99 میلیون روی این داره معامله میشه و تمام اینها رو میتونید روی تلگرام اکسس داشته باشید بهش. اگه کسی $100 شروع کنه حسابشو باز کنه 10% میگیره، اگه 250 تا 1000 باشه 11%. میبینید که بیسیک کامفورت، استاندارد کامفورت، اپتیمال بیزنس و VIP هستش. بعدش لاکچری اگه 25000 تا $50,000 بذارید هفته‌ای $1,000 آمریکایی از این سودهایی که این آقای ربات درست میکنه به حسابتون میاد عزیز من. و چطوری کمپانی پول درست میکنه؟ 17.5% این ربات درست میکنه. این درصدای کمتر رو میدن به شما و خودشون سودها رو میگیرن. مثال های زیادی هست. این سال قبل همین روزا شروع شده $10,000 و الان به $46,000 بیشتر رسیده و با یک $19.99 اگه تورنتو، اگه کانادا و آمریکا هستید پروتون VPN لازم دارید، از اپ استور دانلود میکنید. برای براوزر هم همینطور، اوتنتیکیتر هم حسابتون رو سکیور میکنه. اولین دپازیتی که انجام میدید از هر والتی که باشه، کوین بیس والت مورد نظر من هست که میخوام الان دیگه برم سر زوم کال آقای شین مورند و برنامه رو ببینم به زبان انگلیسی و با دوستان در میان بذارم. ممنونم و با امید دیدار. You can continue watching this as we go live to Shane Morand's training, friends. So let's see if Shane is locked out, load it, and going forward. So if there's no music, we will
Recording
connect
in
directly.
progress. Shane Morand is a master trainer, strategist, and world-class mentor. His track record includes building a company from the ground up to $1 billion in sales in under 5 years, transforming the lives of 2.2 million families across more than 50 countries. Shane is an author, an internationally awarded leader, and one of the world's most powerful communicators. His knowledge, energy, and vision inspire thousands to expand their financial reach. Shane Morand's contribution takes our growth to the next level and reinforces Aurum's position as a force shaping the future of finance.
به زبانهای
All right,
فارسی
welcome Aurum family.
خوش اومدید
worldwide.
اورام.
Welcome to the call.
خوش اومدید به
As
این
we
زوم.
open up the room here, just let us know where you're calling in from. It's always fun to
به ما
start
بگید
off,
از کجا به ما
the
میایید،
mastery
با ما
call
هستید.
by finding out
کانادا.
who
بذار
we
بذاریم
have
اینجا.
here, and we'll go as fast as we can. We start off with Serbia, first in the house, Canada. Someone said, "Wow!" I know I like to join a little early these live calls because those intro videos really inspire me. I don't know about you. Florida, Ohio, Nigeria, Venezuela, Nigeria again. Good morning from BC, Canada. Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Spain, Canada, Ocala, Florida, Sudan, welcome. Los Angeles, Czech Republic, welcome. In the house, Czech Republic. Who else is in the house here? Nigeria, Ontario, Canada, Arizona. Regards from Croatia, Philippines, Estonia. Welcome. Chicago in the house, Mexico, South Africa. All right, Hawaii, aloha, welcome to Hawaii. London in the house. New Zealand. Now, New Zealand, I got to take my hat off. You got to be, it's got to be 3 o'clock in the morning there. Welcome, Brazil. Welcome. Turkey in the house. Slovakia in the house. Welcome, Slovakia. Welcome, Atlanta. They said it's hot Atlanta. Saudi Arabia in the house. Spain, Bahrain in the house. Washington, Portugal in the house. Who else do we have? Italy joining us. South Africa, Greece, UAE, Islamabad in the house. Welcome. Germany, Slovakia. We keep going until you guys slow down a little bit. But Macedonia, New Zealand again. Wow, I'm impressed. 5 a.m. in New Zealand. Woohoo! Ohio. Welcome to Mastery. This is week 2. We're going to get started just in a second here. It's your last chance to text out to your best partners to get on week 2. You don't want to miss. We're just laying the foundation of the Mastery 90-day game plan. I'm going to continue to watch the board here as we've got, again, Canada in the house, Florida in the house. We have... who else do we have? Okay, we're good. We got so much. It's going too fast right now for me, but you can see that we are almost full here. Germany, Russia, keep on coming. Thailand. Let us know, what country are you representing? Oregon, Kiev in the house. Way to go, Kiev. All right, we get started on this call. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and Aurum partners worldwide. Good morning. Good early morning to our friends in New Zealand, 5 a.m., man. That is impressive. Thanks for calling in, everybody, and welcome back. This is week 2 of the Aurum Foundation's 90-day Mastery Series, and I am super fired up this week. Now, if you're here live on this call, I want you to write today's date down. Just go ahead and write today's date down. If you're watching the replay, you're not going to have to worry about this, but circle the date, because this week is going to be a historical, absolutely historical week for your company, Aurum, and you're going to find out all about it this week. But I'm super fired up, super excited to have you here join us again live, because this week we're building one of the most important foundations in referral marketing. All right, this is one of the most important. Again, we're building in week 1 and week 2, we're building the foundation. What we're about to do over the next 90 days is we're building a skyscraper together, going from the ground to a massive skyscraper. And in order to do that, we've got to build a very strong foundation. One of the most important components is, well, there's 2 things, is belief. You want to write this down.
belief, underline it, and value. All right, belief and value. This is a huge topic that we're going to discuss, and I'm going to give you an opportunity here to really, in your introduction, in your story, in the simplicity of how to introduce Aurum to people that you meet in a conversation. It's really going to build a solid foundation. That is why not only will it help you, but every single person, every partner that's within your network, whether it's local or global. Now, if people don't believe, okay, listen carefully. If people don't believe in what they're hearing, they're not going to move, right? If your lips are moving, but the person who's listening doesn't believe you, they're not moving anywhere. All right. If they don't understand also, so there's the belief, but if they don't understand the value, they're not going to act. If they don't see any value to them personally, they're not going to act. So we're tackling those two things, belief and also value. If they don't see an opportunity for themselves clearly, then again, they're going to hesitate. They're going to hesitate if they can't see it for themselves. And everything that we're going to talk about today is going to help you build that real solid foundation so that you could, in a very simple conversation, have this conversation where belief is high and value is super high. All right. That's why week 2 matters so much. That's why you can't afford to miss week 2. Right. Now, if you didn't see last week's call, if you didn't hear last week's call, we really focused on the daily invitation and the concept of inviting 2 a day, just 2 a day. 2 a day. Who could do 2 a day? Not 200 a day, not 2,000 a day, 2 a day. Who could do it? Everybody. Everybody. It's duplicatable. But if you don't know how to invite, go back to week 1. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So, have you been starting the 2 conversations a day? By the way, if you're here again, have you already started to have 2 conversations a day? Have you already started in the last week to invite 2 new people a day, 2 new people a day, maybe people on your list, maybe people in your social media? Just reach out to 2 new people a day. Everybody can do 2 a day. No matter what you're doing in life, no matter how busy you are, everybody can do 2 a day. That's why we say 2 a day. It's one of our fundamental basic foundations here. So again, if you missed the week 1 episode, you can find it on the Aurum YouTube channel. We've created an actual Aurum 90-day game plan. It's a playlist on YouTube, and all you got to do is you go to YouTube first of all at Aurum_foundation at Aurum_foundation on YouTube, and look for the playlist and go listen to and review over and over the week 1 episode so that you'll be caught up here. This week, anyway, we're going to go even one step deeper. And next week, we're going to go even deeper. And next week, we're going to go even deeper after that. And until we complete this entire 90-day game plan series, and we're going to take, and this is the whole series was designed from someone that has 0 experience, or maybe they forgot a lot of the simplicity, a lot of the basics in referral marketing, direct sales, network marketing. And it's going to be an amazing opportunity, not just for you, but for your partners to lock arms and to use a system, a simple, duplicatable system that every single person can do. Every single person can learn, can apply, and can start teaching, right? So imagine the power of this as we gather together once a week live, but we're going to record every session so that we can post it in the playlist. Because not only do you want to be on these calls live, this is where the energy, can you feel the energy in the room tonight? I can, with everybody. And Brazil just says, don't forget about us. All right. Okay, Brazil. But we're learning basically how to build belief today. Through how we're going to do that. We're going to build belief through your story and the value of Aurum and the value of AI finance. So there's 2 components. One is the belief is going to come through your story, which is not my story. And your story is not your sponsor story, and it's not the people that you sponsored story. It's your story is individual. And so when I go through the concept with you, it's important that you grab a pen and a piece of paper so that you pour your story onto the piece of paper and you practice your telling your, don't tell my story, right? I've got my own story, and we'll share some of that with you today. So I hope this is making sense, but at Aurum Foundation, we're not just talking about a product. We're not just talking about a service. We're talking about an entire AI finance ecosystem, all right? We're talking about a system that brings together not only community, that's what we're doing here. We're building a global community. Did you hear the beginning of this call, how many countries are already represented in this room? It is absolutely impressive, all right? And so we're building this community together. You're building a community in your local neighborhood, in your local areas, in your local markets, but you're also building a community, and some of you are building a global community. So we can take it from local, to state or provincial, to country and all over the world. That is a step-by-step process, but you always start in your local market. We're not just talking about an opportunity here or just about a bunch of products. It's more than that. It's even education. It's even the amazing power of AI finance, which is I am so fired up. I just got back from Cannes, France, all right, to the 9th annual community event, one of the largest events for Ethereum in all of Europe. And I was a little nervous because I'm not a techie geek. I'm not a blockchain techie guy. That's not me. And so I was a little nervous because I was being introduced to all of these legends in the Ethereum ecosystem, legends, all right, and companies. And I was a little bit nervous, but so I thought I'd ask a really cool question. That was like, hey, what are you most excited about, the blockchain moving into the future? What are you most excited about the future of blockchain? And many people, their response was immediate, was AI. It's AI. It's AI. AI is the future. And then I went, well, have you heard of AI finance? And I was shocked that not very many of the geeky experts even know what AI finance is. But here we are at Aurum, all right, and this is what we're bringing to the world. We're pioneering AI finance. AI finance right now is not well known. You can go talk even to the geeks of the geeks, and very few know what AI finance is. And this is what we're bringing. This is what Aurum, your company, is really bringing to the world. But I promise this is my prediction, right? And I don't have any guarantees, but I can guarantee this. Within 12 months to 18 months, all right, AI finance is going to be a household name. Everyone's going to know AI finance, and Aurum is leading that way. Are you fired up about this, or is it just me, right? That means our message, it's not only about what someone buys, it's also about what someone experiences as they use the platform. It's about even customers. What do they want? Customers want value. Customers want to know, if I do this, what am I going to get, right? They want the value. But guess what partners want? Partners want opportunity, baby. Give me an opportunity. Can I grow in this opportunity, right? The partners want the opportunity. But guess what? We've got both. We can give the value and we can give opportunity to everybody we know. And so when both of these are clearly understood, right? When you can clearly communicate these concepts, your business and your network becomes stronger. It has no choice. Actually, it becomes much stronger because you've got a clear, simple, easy message that we can duplicate. And you can learn it very easily. I'm going to show you. Remember the strategy, right? Create a few simple actions that can be duplicated by a large group of people over a consistent period of time. So everything that we do in mastery, in the 90-day game plan, everything that we're going to be teaching and sharing, it has to be simple enough so everybody can do it. If we complicate this, and this can be complicated, I can guarantee you, and some people feel overwhelmed when they look at the platform because it looks really complicated, which in the background it is. But when we simplify it down to people go, well, I understand that, I could do that. Now we've got something that we could learn, that we can apply, that we can teach to our partners. And again, I'm going to repeat over and over, that's why these mastery calls are so important, not only for you to show up, but to show up with your team, you know, to lock arms with your team and say, do not miss this call, or get to that replay as fast as you can and watch it over and over and over. And so we're all about building your network bigger, better, faster, stronger. And this week, week 2, we're going to learn how to explain the value in a simple and natural way. You know, and why does your story matter anyway? Because we're going to first focus on your story, right? And again, why does it matter? Because people can forget the facts. People are going to forget numbers. People are going to forget stuff, but they always remember stories. And it's your story. When you're introducing, it's your story that's going to be memorable. It's your individual, personal story. And a story really helps people feel the message that you're bringing. You know, a story helps people understand the purpose of what the heck are you doing here in the first place, right? And we're not talking about a book story. We're talking about a 30 to 45 second story, right? Everybody's going like, woo, I don't have to write a book. No, it's going to be a 30 to 45 second story that we're going to build together today. And that story helps people connect emotionally before they ever make a decision. They're going to be connected emotionally because they know your story. Isn't this amazing? I mean, I absolutely love this. So that's why, you know, your story matters. Your story doesn't have to be dramatic. No. Your story doesn't have to be perfect. No, it doesn't. It just has to be real. Your story just has to sound like you, who you are, an individual. You know, you're not like anybody else. You know, it just has to be, how can I make it simple here? It just has to be your story. It has to be your real story. So I'm going to ask you, you know, what your story is. So, you know, if I said to you, hey, tell me your story, right? You might go, well, you know, it began when I was born and blah, 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 blah. And the person falls asleep that's listening to your story, right? And maybe you've never been taught how to develop a story. Maybe, and most people have never been taught how to do this. But what we're talking about today in week 2 is we're talking about you creating a 30 to 45 second story that you'll never forget. That is just so natural. It's almost like saying, what's your address? You know, where do you live? And you, what's your phone number? I know that. What's your story? Boom, 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 boom. You know it because it's yours. It only belongs to you, all right? And so what I want to do is I want to show you how you can create your own story by answering how many questions? 4 simple questions. Are you fired up? Grab a pen, grab a piece of paper. I want you to write this stuff down, and we're going to show you how to do this with 4 simple questions. Let's go to the charts here, and let's watch this. Let's see if this shows up. All right, we're good. And so here's the first. In creating your story, write this down or take a screenshot or do something, but don't forget this, all right? First of all, why did you look at Aurum in the first place? Think about this. Why did you look at Aurum? And there's a million opportunities out there. There's a million things you could have done in your life. Why did you look at Aurum when it came to your attention? When the genius who thought enough about you showed you Aurum, why did you even look? What is that answer? It's not a book. It could be one sentence. Well, I don't want to answer the question because I want you to answer your question. Your question in every language is, why did you look at Aurum? Listen carefully to the question. Why did you even look? Not why did you join? Why did you look at Aurum? Can you answer that in 1 or 2 sentences? Okay, and you don't have to do it right now, but you can, maybe right now you already know why you looked at Aurum. Maybe you already know the answer. Write your answer down, all right? Let's move on to the next question, right? Once you have this, I've given everybody enough time, but why did you look? Very important. You start off your story. Well, you know what? I looked at Aurum because blah, 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 whatever your story is, okay? And then the next question is, why did you choose to stay with Aurum? When you looked at it, something made you say, hey, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to get involved and I'm going to stay with Aurum. Why was that for you? There's no right answer. There's no perfect answer. It's your answer. It's your real story. You see how we're building something that's real just for you? And we're doing it in a very simple, easy way. Who can answer these two questions so far? We're halfway there, guys. To building your story, we're halfway there, right? Why did you look at Aurum? Why did you choose to stay? And again, some of you, boom, you know the answer right away. You know the answer because you'll never forget that answer because it's your real story, right? The third question, let's move on or take a screenshot, do whatever you have to do. And let's go to the third. And what is it that you see when you look at the Aurum ecosystem? What is your personal opinion about the ecosystem? What is it that you're seeing in the ecosystem? And some people are going to say, well, I see the XAI bot. That's all I see. I just see the XAI. Wonderful. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you see in the ecosystem. But others are going to say, not only the XAI bot, but there's a Visa product. And not only the Visa product, but there's an exchange coming out. Not only that, but we even have gold and RWA, real world assets. And we have even other bots that we can use. And so you might have a different way to explain what you're seeing. But the answer, again, isn't about writing a book. It's just a couple sentences. Here's what I see. Boom, 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 boom. All right? Hope this makes sense. And I hope for the translators, again, I want to thank you so much, guys. When I get fired up, I speak way too fast. And I guess it's unfair to our awesome translators. But this will apply in any language, in any country, anywhere in the world. And can you imagine the global community, when the global community of partners knows their story, like they know their address, knows their story, like they know their phone number, right? They know their story. It just happens so easily. And now we're getting somewhere, all right? Now we're getting in something that people are going to start feeling confident because it's their story, right? And finally, the last question, right? This is the fun one. And the last question is, what excites you about the future of Aurum? What excites you about the future of Aurum? You know, we can be here a long time with that one, right? There are no right answers. There is only your answer to that question. We can interview 1,000 partners all over the world in all kinds of different languages. We can interview 10,000. You know, we can interview 170,000 now. And we can ask them what excites you, and we may not find the same answer. Everybody's going to have a different personal reason. But what happens when you're doing an introduction, when you're telling your story, you see, when you talk about what excites you, that prospect will not forget that story. They're not going to forget. This is a story that you're telling. The story is, why did you look at Aurum? Why did you choose to stay? What do you see in the ecosystem? And what excites you about the future? What excites you about your future with Aurum? And when you get that machine, and it could take you 2 hours to figure this out. And some of you have already got it all figured out now and are fired up and are excited because now you've got something real solid. Guess what? Your story's not going to change in 6 weeks. Your story's not going to change in a month or 2 months or 3 months. You know, maybe the ecosystem, what you're seeing in the ecosystem is going to change. That's a clue, you know, maybe, and maybe even, you know, from time to time, what you're seeing in your future as you develop, as you grow through the ranks is going to enhance, all right? Your future is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until you figure out there's no limits here, all right? All right, so let's take this off here. And so really, the first part of what we're talking about today is really creating your story by answering 4 questions and creating it in a natural, easy way. So you practice your story over and over and over. Please write this down. Your story should be 30 to 45 seconds. Okay, your story is not writing a book. Your story is not making a movie, nothing like that. It's a quick 30 to 45 second high impact, meaning like it might be some, let me give you an example. It might be, I looked at Aurum because I'd been looking for a platform like Aurum for years, and I didn't know it existed. So when I saw the possibility, that's why I looked at it. And why did you choose to stay? I chose to stay because of the massive credibility. With all the credibility, the magazines and the Forbes and the Entrepreneur, and we've got Brian Benson and the powerful corporate team that's coming together. And that's why I stayed, right? Or you might, and then your story might continue. What is it that you see with the ecosystem? Might be, well, I see an opportunity for the everyday person to participate in the future of banking, and the future of banking is right now. That's what I see in this ecosystem. And then to answer the question, like, what excites you about the future? Well, you could say something like, well, I believe that Aurum's ecosystem is the future of banking. And I believe that Aurum will create, 1,000 millionaires using and promoting this ecosystem, right? Something like that. And you just put that together, you put it together, and then you start practicing it over and over until it becomes just part of who you are, right? Can you see the power? Now just ask yourself the question. I know I'm going very fast and it's a lot of information, but guess what? Is it possible for you to come up with your story, 30 to 45 seconds? The answer is yes. And if it's possible for you to come up with your story and you can practice, can you apply your story in a real conversation? Can you do this? The answer is yes. And if you can apply it, and then you figure out, wait a second, this is pretty simple. Then can you teach it to your partners? Or if you don't want to teach it to your partners, have them come and watch week 2 on YouTube on the playlist, 90-day game plan. Let's go, guys. So when you can answer these 4 questions, when you can answer it clearly, your message becomes, I was going to say stronger, but I'm going to say bulletproof. Your message out there becomes bulletproof because it's a real, not a fake, not a salesperson. You're just sharing who you are and what you saw. That's it. And that's what people connect to emotionally, right? And this week's, what I want to do is focus on a success principle called faith, right? Faith. What does it mean? It means, faith means believing in value, in the value, believing in the value of what you're building before the results even show up. You see, faith is knowing that Aurum is going to fill arenas with people wanting to learn more about AI finance, even though arenas aren't being filled right now. But if we have faith, we already know that as the word gets out, as this grows more and more, in AI finance, where's AI finance? Where can I find it? You can find it at Aurum Foundation, AI finance. And then Aurum starts putting these massive events on, huge events, and people from all over the world want to go. As a matter of fact, this weekend, there's an event in Maldives. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people that want to attend, and they would pay a fortune to be there. They cannot, because it's only qualified. The top 150 that qualified get to go. This is an example for now, but there are thousands that would happily jump on a flight and come and join if they could. They just can't right now, but that day's coming. Can you see how that vision of, we're not filling arenas right now, but we have the faith that it's possible. And that's so important in referral marketing. That's not only important in referral marketing, it's important in leadership. It's also important to have that faith of knowing in just plain duplication, duplication to start when you're talking to your partners, having faith. When you speak with faith, by the way, people feel it. People say, well, I don't understand exactly what you just said, but I'm going to follow you. You see what I'm saying? This is a phenomenon that happens when someone has faith that everything is possible. People will start to follow you. And when you have faith in your own story, and the faith comes in when you're talking about what you see in the future. That little part of the story at the end when you're saying, this is what I see in the future, and you speak with faith. When you speak with doubt, by the way, like most people speak with doubt, people feel that too. So this week, week 2 of the 90-day game plan, I want you to speak with confidence. Tell your story with confidence. Learn to tell your story with clarity. Learn and practice to tell your story with conviction. I cannot stress enough that your story is not a massive 3-hour story. Your story is going to be a 30 to 45 second story. Who can do this? 30 to 45 seconds. But you practice those 30 to 45 seconds until it just becomes who you are when you're telling your story, right? And if there was one advice, people always ask me when I travel around and meet people in the industry, they'll say, Shane, if you could just give me one advice, one just piece of advice, if you can give me one, if you had to start over again, and if you could just from nothing, just give me one piece of advice on what I could do to really have a big impact in this industry, what would that be? It's always the same. People ask the one thing. What's the one thing, right? I would just say believe bigger. Write that down. Believe bigger. Believe faster, right? Not because everything's perfect. I'm not saying believe bigger because everything's perfect, but because you believe in the direction that this energy is flowing. Believe bigger in the company. Believe bigger in Aurum now. Believe bigger in Aurum. I'm telling you, I feel like Ahmed now because he has so much information that he cannot share with all the partners right now. He cannot share, but he wants to, and I feel the same way right now because things are coming. It's historical week this week, but believe bigger in your company now before they make all these announcements. Believe bigger in AI finance and the ecosystem now. Believe bigger now. This is my one piece of advice, as a partner, believe bigger in this insane compensation plan. Believe bigger in that compensation plan, right? But when we're talking about belief, the most important part that I can say when we're talking about belief and believing bigger is you got to believe bigger in you. You got to believe bigger in yourself. You've got to believe bigger in yourself. And for some people, I know some of you, it's very difficult to believe in yourself because you've had your whole life experience where people around you, in some cases, have been telling you, this will never work, that'll never work, you never, I know the stories, right? And so for some, it's difficult to believe in yourself, but this is huge. And if you can understand what I'm about to say, I think it's going to help you, but you need to believe bigger in you. And I want you to think about this very carefully, because if you don't believe in you, who's going to believe in you? Did you hear that? If you don't believe in you, who's going to believe in you when you're telling the story? You don't even believe in yourself. And so the thing that you want to believe bigger in is believe bigger in yourself first. Let's start there. Believe bigger in yourself, that it's possible to achieve your dreams, that it's possible step by step by step by step to build your network, even starting from zero, zero knowledge, zero customers, zero partners, zero, from starting right where you are, wherever you are, and step by step building yourself a financial wall around your family that nothing can get through. All right. So now that we've talked a little bit about belief, I hope this is making sense, and I hope that you can go back and watch this over and over again. I want to talk about value. In Aurum, value can really be communicated in a very simple way, and I'll break it down into two parts. For example, there's the customer part. Someone says, I just want to be a customer, right? They want something. The customers, what do they want? They want something that matters to them. Example, the daily ROI, that matters to a customer, right? The Visa, to be able to spend their crypto. Maybe to them it's gold accumulation and the ROI with a portion of their gold holdings, right? Maybe that's important to them. But all the customer wants is the value, what's in it for me. I don't want to know anything else. That's a customer, right? But what do the partners want? The partners want something that they can build. The partners want something that has a proven method of operation. A proven method, and that's what we're developing here at Mastery. We're developing a proven method of operation that we can take someone from zero, and we can slowly, week by week by week, over a 90-day period, build them up until they have everything it takes to become a professional in this industry. And even the professionals, and I know you're in here, right? The professionals are going, my God, this is stuff that I knew years ago, but you're just reminding me again that this is what caused the success in the first place. And imagine if my entire organization had access to this information, like right now, right here and right now. Imagine the impact. Imagine how quick, how much faster the entire global organization would start to grow. You know, when we have a proven method of operation, a system that can produce results. You know, this is what partners are looking for. And partners are also looking for what? They're looking for leadership. Partners are looking for leadership. Do you know what you're doing? Leadership. Can you show me, right? Can you lead me? Can you show me what the steps are? Can you show me how to onboard? Can you show me how to use this? Can you show me what it takes to introduce someone? You know, so really what they're looking for is leadership above all that's really serious about helping people grow, right? Are you really serious about helping me grow? Or are you just here trying to make money and goodbye, right? And sign me up and sell me and I'm out of here. No. That's not Aurum style. Aurum style and the whole compensation plan rewards you by helping other people. And you'll never get what you want in life if you don't help enough other people get what it is that they want. And the top income earners in Aurum right now, they're all heading down to Maldives. Right now, some of them are already there and on a plane. But the top income earners have helped the most people. That's just the way it works. So both customers and partners want to feel that they're part of something meaningful. All right, and that's why as we get on to the next section here, that Aurum's AI finance ecosystem is so important, man. This is just amazing. It's not just one piece. It's not just a one product, you know, a one trick pony. It's not just a one thing. And some people said, well, is Aurum a bot company? No, that's not Aurum. Sorry, must be another company you're talking about. Well, is Aurum a trading company? No, that's not Aurum. That's not. You can't just say Aurum's a trading company. Well, it must be a Visa company. No, it's not really a Visa company. Or is Aurum just an exchange company? No. Hey, is Aurum a gold company? No. Is Aurum a real estate company? No. What about, is Aurum a data center company? No. Aurum is the whole AI finance ecosystem, right? That's what Aurum is. It's the entire system. That's what makes Aurum. That's what fire. That's the fuel. That's the actual rocket fuel. And again, this week is going to be historical because announcements are coming that are going to blow the industry out of the water. And anybody that said no to Aurum in the past, just make your list now and get ready for what's happening. But again, it's the combination of all the pieces working together. That's Aurum. That's AI finance. And when people understand that AI finance is a part of something that's much bigger than just trading. It's much bigger than just this or just that. It's a much bigger piece of the puzzle. When people understand that, you know, they begin to see that this is not just an ordinary conversation we're going to have here, right? It's a conversation about a modern and the most modern opportunity, and it's about smart systems that has really relevance every single day. Every single day, Aurum has relevance. So what I want to do to the next phase here, so we've got your story, that you've got an opportunity now to practice, you know what to do, and now we're going to move a little bit forward here, and I want to show you another four-step process to present value, but to present value in your own natural words, right? How do we do that? And again, I want to show you a simple way that from your words, you can present value to someone that you're talking to in a natural, non-salesy, but it's almost like as natural as your story. Okay? Are you ready to see that? If you're ready, let me share this with you. and we'll get here. So there are really four sections that I'm talking about here in creating value with AI finance, right? There's four steps, and the most important thing here, when you see number one there, we're always, when you're going to start to talk about Aurum, I want you to start by talking about the problem. And I'm giving you an example here, like kind of the general kind of idea, but again, take a screenshot of this, but take these words and make them your own, right? Your own. This is the concept. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be technical. It doesn't have to be like high level. You don't have to sound like a genius. It just has to sound like you. But here's the problem, right? People want financial growth. True or true? Yes, people need financial growth, but there's so much complexity out there. There's so much confusion. They're so overwhelmed. That's a problem. Okay, how can you take this and make it your words? How can you take this concept and make it your words, right? And I'm going to give you some examples. Okay, I'll give you some examples, so don't worry. But what we're going to do in the section one, again, in this particular area, again, we're not writing a book. It's going to be about a 30 to 45 seconds, again, but we're going to be talking about the problem that people are facing, right? Like I like to say, well, I'll talk to you about my examples in a second here, but just for your notes, write down the problem, and you can kind of I'm giving you an example of what the problem could look like, that people want financial growth, but there's so much complexity, right? And I've got so many examples. So we've got the problem, but then we've got the guide. What's the guide? It's the Aurum Foundation. The Aurum Foundation is the guide. Aurum Foundation is the mentor. Not Shane Morand, it's the foundation. It's the whole ecosystem that is the guide, that is the mentor, that's providing a simple, trusted ecosystem that's powered by AI finance. Can you see how that works? So again, if we just go through this, people want financial growth, but they face complexity, confusion, and they're overwhelmed. But Aurum Foundation provides a simple, trusted ecosystem powered by AI finance, right? And we can continue to number three. And number three here says that what's the plan? So we got a guide. What's the plan? The plan is to join the community, which is Aurum, and access the tools immediately. Like within 24 hours, you can see results. How amazing is this Aurum, right? How amazing. Can you see when you start putting this into your words, how powerful your invitation and your invitation to have them look at the information, right? It's so powerful. And finally, once we have the plan, now we're going to end with the success. What's the success? Well, that you gain clarity as a customer or as a partner, you gain confidence and opportunities to grow locally and globally. Take a minute here and just read that again.
نوت دارم می‌نویسم. دوستان عزیز فارسی زبان که دارید با ما هنوز نگاه میکنید. شین مورند فکر میکنم صداش رفت. صدای شین رو نداریم، برای همینجا استاپ میکنیم و دوباره برمیگردیم توی استودیو. If you've been watching, this was an amazing 1 hour, the best in the world, and we're going to name it in Farsi and in English. This was a combined effort, so welcome back. Mondays 11 a.m. that's 12 p.m. also Toronto time, 11 and 12. And then on a regular basis, Monday, Tuesdays, it's at 7:15 p.m. with our team in Aurum Foundation. Those of you sign up, please put the schedule. It's going to be on this video. Put the schedule, post it in note, post it in front of you. $1 million does not come easy. You have to work for it. You have to work really hard, and you have to have belief, and you have to show the value that Aurum Foundation presents. I'm here to show it to you, my friends. Those of you watch on YouTube, make sure you reach out to register your account today. I'm Arif Gilany. Thank you for watching. Share this video with somebody who likes to make more money in 2026, more than they have ever made in the